Okay. Um. Earlier tonight, Alec Baldwin was acquitted of all charges in the so-called Rust shooting. Now, just to recap a few seconds, few minutes rather, a few seconds. Rust was a Western movie, and it was plagued with problems as far as gun safety. Yes, the people in California, the Hollywood mogul. This is obviously not in California, but Hollywood celebrities, okay, from California. Yes, them. They who lecture us about gun safety. They who raise money for gun safety laws. Okay, they created a incredibly unsafe environment of guns, and there were several crew members that quit. Now Hollywood is very big into unions, and yes, it wasn't in Hollywood; it was outside of Hollywood. But you know what I mean. You have the Stagehands Union, Teamsters Union, Screen Actors Guild, depending on your job, but you have a union. Now, typically, if you walk off the set, I don't know how that works out. Do you quit your job entirely when you walk off the set? Maybe the real big shot movie star doesn't, but if the stagehand or the little guy, if he walks off the set, does he get to keep his job? And just tell his union rep, hey, listen, man, that set was unsafe. I want a different movie or a different TV show. I don't want to work in them, okay? But there were people that walked off the job. The armorer was 24 years old. She got her job because of her father. Now, it's okay in Hollywood for the big movie stars to get the job because of their father. But when you're responsible for safety, there's no my father told me. Or my father is a blah, blah, blah. No. Now, they were doing one of the main things they were doing. I'm going to say the word bullet a lot in this video instead of round or ammo. Bullet. Because the bullet is the thing that flies on the barrel. Bullet. It was a lot of, out in the middle of the desert, big open territory, why not shoot guns? Fine. But they were shooting guns with real bullets at targets in between their break time. And then those guns were also the prop gun. So if they're shooting real bullets out of the real gun, I bring the gun back to the safe and that gun is going to be used in a movie. No. No. That's a big mistake. And what mostly happened was in between firing real bullets out of the real gun and putting the gun back in the prop area and using it in the movie, a real bullet must have stayed in the gun. They probably shot a couple rounds out of the gun and put the gun back without clearing it. A lot of times you go to the range and you shoot your gun, you clear before you go take it home with you, right? Yeah. They probably just shot a couple bullets, put the gun away, still loaded, and there's a real bullet in there, and the single action revolver, yeah. Now, when I first got my first gun, my Glock 23, my FFL was showing me how to field strip it. And he showed me how you do it, and obviously it's a Glock, you gotta pull the trigger. You gotta clear it, point it away, pull the trigger, rack the slide, and pull down the, yes. And my FFL showed me how to do it, handed me the gun, and then I pulled the trigger, but I did not clear it. He grabbed it from me and told me, what the fuck, how do I just stick a fucking ball in there? I'm like, but I watched you do it. I don't give a fuck. Even though my FFL did feel right in front of me, even though my eyes never left him, you still check it. And that was a lesson that stuck with me for all these years. So even if you're on a set and it's a movie set and the armorer says this gun is cold, you still check it. George Clooney, who is the embodiment of liberalism, he checks his guns. Because the prop gun is literally a real gun, and you just simply put blank bullets in it. You put blanks in it, and then you run around bang, 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 shooting people with it. Now, obviously, in real life, you would never point a gun at anyone unless they were a threat to you. But on a movie set, you point guns at people to kill them for fake. Obviously, it's all pretend. But when you have a real life gun and you put a fake bullet in it, allegedly, and point it at someone and pull the trigger, you had a problem. Also, Alec was allegedly drawing and practicing, but the two people in front of him were not stuntmen. They were crew members that are supposed to be behind the camera. And if you were on set, in addition to checking your gun several times to make sure every bullet is a fake bullet or a blank, whatever the fuck you want to call it, okay, you need to make sure that you only point the gun at the stuntman. Because if I'm on the set and I'm supposed to kill the stuntman, God forbid something goes wrong, only he dies. As opposed to me killing the director, the paper boy, the makeup artist, stuff like that, okay? He pulled the gun, and the gun went off, and everyone believes he pulled the trigger, and he injured one and killed one. Now, the armorer is already in prison for like 18 months for manslaughter. That's probably going to be, 15, 16 months to be out on the street, no big deal. It's a light sentence compared to what she did. Because she was negligent. Okay, she was supposed to check every single, don't forget the single action revolver. You got to spin every single cylinder. Like double action revolver. I open it up and I see all the chambers, all the holes there. And if all the holes are blank, it's empty. If all the holes are empty, the gun is empty. Or if it's a blank thing, I have to take every single bullet out, cartridge, casing, whatever, examine the bullet itself to make sure it's a blank bullet, and then put it back in. Single action revolver, you have to open the cylinder, hit the spring, turn it around, hit the spring. Okay, she apparently didn't do that. Alec also didn't do that. So this is gross negligence. No one thinks he wanted to hurt anybody, but it was gross negligence. So that's the thing. You were overtly negligent. You were pulling a gun at someone. You weren't filming the scene. They're not the stuntman, but you're pointing the gun at them anyway, which is a big safety violation. Plus, you didn't check the gun yourself. Someone said cold gun, and you took their word for it. And like my FFL told me, you never take their word for it. And obviously, when I was field tripping my gun, I was pointing it down the floor, and there was nothing below me, but still. Okay, now you got a guy pointing a gun at someone, pulling the trigger allegedly, and he didn't check the gun. That's a problem. Now, we've all seen My Cousin Vinny. And then My Cousin Vinny, Joe Pesci, is going hunting with the prosecutor. He's trying to finagle him to get to see his records, for the case. And then he's like, look your files. So you would, yeah. And he gets on the, either in a car, the truck ride that should be, and he gets on that very, very, very old-fashioned looking car phone, which is very, very highly technical at the time. Calls the secretary. Can you print out the Gambini Rothstein files, Mr. Gambini, please? Yeah, sure. And he comes back to his hotel with all his files. I got files, all of them, blah, 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 blah. And Marissa Tomei says, why he gave you his files? He asked what's called disclosure, you dickhead. Disclosure or Brady material means that when you are accused in criminal court of a crime, the prosecutor is obligated to give your attorney all the evidence against you. Most of the time, your attorney should ask for it. Most of the time, he doesn't have to because the prosecutor is already smart to give them in advance. Okay? Because defense attorneys, they don't just say, I'll bet they have fingerprints. Or, let me ask this guy that question. They see all the evidence in advance of trial, and that's how they plot out their defense. They're not allowed any surprises. And if for some reason some witness appears out of fucking nowhere, they're supposed to pause the trial for a couple of days, not a week, give the evidence to the defense attorney, let the defense attorney examine the evidence, prepare testimony, prepare cross-examination, and yes, like that. Now, That's why we have about 93% of cases in this country that end in this plea deal, because the prosecutor gives the disclosure, the Brady material, to the defense attorney, and the defense attorney says, "You're fucked. DNA this, video footage that, eyewitness that, fingerprint, whatever the evidence is." He says, "Listen, you're fucked. You gotta make a deal." And he tells the prosecutor and the judge, "My client agrees to plead guilty to this. If you agree to plead down to that," and that's a plea deal. You agree to plead guilty because you've seen the evidence already. The judge gives you a reduced sentence, and in exchange, you save the taxpayers a lot of money. A lot of money. If you have 100 cases a day in a criminal court, you cannot have 100 juries. That's 1,200 jurors a day in criminal court. The court can't function with 1,200 jurors a day. It can't. Okay? And if you have a big case, rape, murder, terrorism, all this bullshit, when they give disclosure, they're supposed to look very, 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 very carefully at every minute thing. Like, this is a murder case, this is a terrorism case, this is a big Jagunda case, and it's very, very groundbreaking, earth-shattering case, and the jury's gonna be sequestered. They're gonna have bodyguards for the jury. They're gonna have a bodyguard for the judge. We have to make sure that every single solitary piece of evidence is given to defense. And they'll have a couple of guys for the prosecution look at every single note, every single thing, every single I, every single T, make sure everything is in place. That way there's no way they can say later, "Oh shit, you forgot to give me this." Now, if you look at the Eye for an Eye with Sally Field and Kiefer Sutherland. Sally Field is having a birthday party for her 6-year-old daughter. They're having delivery guys go back and forth in the house while the 17-year-old daughter is home alone. And Kiefer Sutherland rapes and murders the 17-year-old daughter. And they get a warrant to pull every single delivery guy to have their DNA taken. And Kiefer Sutherland is the murderer. And the prosecutor promises the defense attorney a sample of the DNA for their own analysis. And the prosecutor is switched out for another guy. He goes some case, another guy comes in, and that guy doesn't get the memo. And the evidence, the DNA is destroyed, and they can't share it with the defense. The defense attorney, this is not the climax, this is the first half hour of the movie. I'm not giving you the climax. The defense attorney tells the judge, "Your Honor, I don't have the DNA evidence. Where is it? It was destroyed. The guy that was on the case before you promised it to me, where is it? I need it. Okay? I don't have it. I want the charges dropped." And the charges are dropped. Because the process matters. And Trey Gowdy said that a couple of times in hearings about, when Eric Holder was obstructing justice like that. The process matters. Okay? You're not guilty because you did it. You're guilty because you were proven that you did it. And that's only in a fair prosecution. And part of a fair prosecution means the defense shall have all the evidence. Now, there was a box of live ammo, 45 Colt, that the prosecutor originally thought was irrelevant. So they did not give it to the defense. And the defense argued it was relevant, and where the fuck is it? We didn't get it. Now, it was in the courtroom that day. I don't know if it was in the courtroom because it was in the courtroom already, or because they summoned it. But it was in the courtroom that day. And the judge examined the casings, the bullets, the live bullets. The judge read a couple papers, and then the judge says, "This evidence is vital." I don't know exactly, but evidence is vital. And because the evidence is vital, she's not going to delay the case for a week or two while the defense catches up. Evidence was withheld from the defense. The Brady material the disclosure was violated. And because of that, Alec Baldwin can have a fair trial. And because of that, evidence, case is gone. And because he was already arrested, he was already indicted, he's already in court, okay? They were starting to select jurors. It's dismissed forever, which means he can never be retried. Now, he is being sued for a fucking shitload of money. And there's a young boy here that has no mom. Okay, I'm a 42-year-old adult man. I cannot function without my mother. Okay, my mother is my biggest financial advisor. Okay, I myself at 42 will be lost without my mother. And then I look at all the things she's done for the course of my lifetime in school, okay, stuff like that. She recommended me for my job at the police department. Okay, so I can just imagine how horrible it is for a little boy to have no mom. That's got to be psychologically traumatizing. I don't even want to imagine how horrible that is. Especially when your mom dies that suddenly, your mom has cancer, and you know she's going to die in 6 months. No. You're doing whatever you do one day and get the call, mom ain't coming home, she's dead. There's a horrible accident at work and she's dead. On top of that, Alec Baldwin has shown in interviews, he's doing a TLC show with his family. He showed that he's more concerned about his own image than about this poor woman's life. I'm sorry, it's true. Now, there was a couple months ago, he thought the case was dropped, but it wasn't. He was like they said, we're not gonna drop we're gonna drop the charges. And he goes on Instagram, and there's a picture holding his wife. He's in a chair, she's curled up in his lap. Then another picture, he's on the floor with all 500 kids covering him. Whatever. Okay, so he was more concerned about his image. He's probably upset that she died. He's probably upset that he had something to do with it. But he is so obsessed with his image that it's just fucking unbelievable. He's more concerned about that. And no matter how much money he gives the young boy, his mom is gone forever. And that's bothersome to me as a person. Yes, Donald Duck, sue me. So that's what happens. Now, do I blame the judge? No, I don't. If you look at Justices Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Scalia, Thomas, they all tell us if a judge likes all their decisions, they're a bad judge. Judges have to make the right decision according to law, even if they hate it. And I can tell by this judge woman, I can tell by looking at her face, she wants to throw up having to rule this way. She had to rule this way because the law, the Constitution, the Supreme Court dictated so. So don't blame her, blame the prosecutor for making the mistake. And it's horrible. I thought Alec Baldwin was going to be convicted of something. I figured he's not in Hollywood. Okay? He's not going to get a jury of his fans like OJ got. And that's the thing in Hollywood. Most celebrities, when they hurt someone real bad or when they kill someone, they either get a jury of complete fucking idiots or they got a jury of their fans. And it's hurtful, but that's the truth. That's what happened. And just that legal analysis right there, it is what it is. It's horrible. It really is horrible. But one thing I want Alec Baldwin to start realizing, I want him to stop lecturing everyone else about gun safety and gun laws and gun control saves lives. That's what I want him to stop lecturing me about. All right, thank you.